Hello everybody, welcome to Live Scribbles with Jonathan. You can check out my website and my work at supposed to be jonathanrector.com, but some of you may have noticed if you've tried to head over there in about, I don't honestly know how long it's been down. I'd say it's been down for probably around a week and a half. I think I know the problem. I'm not going to bore you guys to death with that, but I will be hopefully getting it back online this weekend. So you guys can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff if you're already following me there, and you guys will know when that's up. I'm also working on an updated version of my website that will probably start wrapping itself up, or getting started, I should say, early next year, because I'm going, or I don't want to say going to, but I'm heavily considering going into working on some actual traditional artwork. I've actually had a few people email me over the last couple months asking if I have any, not just prints for sale, but just stuff for sale. And I don't want to throw money at you guys right now. I just want to put it out there for those few of you anyway, that have asked in private messages and stuff. I will be looking at not just doing prints, like I said, but actual inked comic pages. And it kind of goes hand in hand. It'll go with the new website so that it's easy to see, as well as sort of talking about what I'll be doing today. Is just finishing this comics panel up, and I just have one panel left to do this tight line art, or as the DC Comics guy likes to call it, wireframes. And then we're going to jump into inks, and that's what I'll be doing for the rest of the day. Unfortunately, I won't be able to get to you guys. Like, if you have specific questions, by all means throw them out. I'll try to address them if they're related to something I can show you in the actual comic panel. I believe in the pre-show, some of you asked about like spotting blacks or something and rendering, I think. So if I can tackle some of that stuff, I will try to help you out anyway. And I apologize. It's just right now, this is in DEFCON 10 deadline mode. So I've got coffee going. I don't want to waste too much time, but I do want to say hello to everybody and thanks for coming in. And thank you for everybody that was here during the pre-show. That's awesome. I'm glad you guys are starting to talk with one another and keeping that conversation going and getting that kind of mild art community thing going, and kind of looking forward to Wednesday nights to hang out with some art friends. And hopefully you guys are drawing and we can get some good stuff going. If you are new to this show is every Wednesday, 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time at about the 45-minute mark. That's when I will go ahead and ask people in the chat if they would like any critiques done. And by all means, just throw it into the chat when I ask, and we'll grab like one or two and we can go there. If you guys are looking for a more personalized, robust, that sounds like a fun word to use, critique, by all means head on over to patreon.com/JonathanRector. There's a bunch of stuff on there. I haven't had a chance to upload the art book. That will be, I'll be making a note of that and trying to get that up this weekend as well. A lot of fires to put out. But yeah, so anyway, I just wanted to continually talk a little bit more. I actually just uploaded the last video on YouTube. Goes over, I think it's like an hour and 15 minutes. And it goes over me inking, or I should say wireframing. Trying to get the terminology right. This panel right here. Let me just zoom it out here. This right here with Kyle's Pizza, guys eating the pizza and stuff. So if you guys are interested in that, I go over like why I do certain things. It is an hour, so it's beefy. Why some of the things are going. However, there are some things I wanted to bring up to you guys, your attention and stuff, I should say, of the DC Comics Guide to Digitally Drawing Comics. It's such a mouthful to say. I always talk about it, but I've just fallen back in love with it. The workflow is just, I feel like it's more what I need it to be. And it's taken, coming in, going out. I think when I was doing Photoshop work before, and I was doing this workflow, it helped me make that transition to digital. And you guys know, I talk about it all the time, and I still think it's an amazing tool. If you can, grab it up if you're interested in digital comics. If it's still something you're still dabbling in, that's cool. I think it's a great book. However, a program came along while I was still learning that called Manga Studio, Manga Studio 4. And I remember I was with this method here. Like, if you look at this line art, some of you guys might dig it. I'm starting to, get more appreciative of it and stuff. But this like flat pen look, I never really liked it too much. And then once I jumped into Manga Studio, and I'm not a traditional inker by any stretch of the imagination. I look at like a quill pen or a thing of ink, and I'm like, I bought some to experiment with, and I am scared to actually use it. That's how much of a little lady I am. So the only traditional somebody's asking there, John, could you do a video of traditional inking tools? I will do one because I do plan on doing this sort of thing because I think some people are interested in it. I normally just use two things to ink. Three things. One is a Pilot. That's the brand. Pilot High-Tech C pen, I believe it is, and I'll show you guys that. And then I use a pocket brush and a Sharpie marker. And I guess whiteout. I guess that would be considered a tool as well. And that's all I use. And it sort of lends itself to this workflow here, which is just how this would look. And if I can ink like this and print out the exciting pages maybe of certain projects or the covers, or every now and then what I plan on doing is maybe doing like you guys saw me post on Facebook earlier this week, Superman. You know, do some big characters and stuff. Just have some fun with it. Practice and try to break away from that fear of traditional stuff. Not that I don't mind it, not that I don't like it. There's nothing wrong with traditional stuff, but I feel like it's a market I should try to get into, and all that good stuff. But yeah, so this method here again, pick up the DC Comics guide, check it out, see if you like it. Like I was alluding to, I've recently just fallen back in love with it. I've been, oh man, probably spending too much time in my, here I'll use this in a LiveStream, off time, Googling Freddie Williams' art, just to see, you know, more stuff, like things that I've missed, projects he's currently working on, and stuff like that. And God, it just gets better and better, and, you know, awesome artist. And it's funny because just seeing that workflow, see how it's working for him and stuff, you know, it's good. I like it. I like where it's getting me, where it's going and stuff like that. The speed it helps me with and all that. Cabbage. So let me just scroll up. If you guys had a question, just ask in all capitals like most of you are already doing. That way when I scroll up, I can just see it very quickly. So let me just catch up to you guys. That long-winded ramble. Actually, the perspective tool, I've finally figured it out, and it's very easy. Now I don't. If I'm looking at perspective, I'm not dreading like how to get around it. I don't open up another software. I'll show you guys real quickly how I do that. Just because some of you still might be struggling with it, and it's literally it's such an easy fix. It's ridiculous. Yep, my website's not working. Traditional for the win. Oh, and you guys some of you did watch the video. Awesome. Thank you. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Whatever happened to Manga Studio 1 to 3? I'm not sure. I think that was Japan only, if I'm right. Jeff Darrow comes to mind. Yeah, actually, yeah, this sort of look is very Jeff Darrow. And if you don't know who he is, oh boy, are you in for a treat when you find his stuff. Okay, so let's assume that I wanted to do the perspective of this shot right here. What I would do, and you guys have seen me struggling to death with this, is just click this tool here and go over to ruler, perspective ruler, and start throwing it in, but I couldn't manipulate it right. I'm going to show you guys something. If maybe you already know this and it just took me a while to get to it. If that's the case, you know, awesome, good for you. Hopefully it's working for you. But anyway, for everybody else, it's literally you just go up to layer and ruler frame. You just go create perspective ruler. What perspective is this? I believe this is 2-point perspective. I have a vanishing point right here and one off to the side, and the up and down lines are straight. Whenever it's a straight line, don't ever think of it as a perspective point. If anything starts to bend, meaning like if you look at this table here, you see how this line is curved. There's no straight lines here. The only straight lines are up and down. So if it's if it's a straight line, I'm trying to tell you is it's not a vanishing point. Whenever a line does this, where it goes off of being straight, then it needs to go to a vanishing point. So it's a quick way to, like, when you think of it. So when I look at this, I'm like, to this day, I'd look at this and it's like, all right, well, it's 1-point perspective because I got one here. And, you know, well, maybe if I throw a second one, the lines look more interesting. Oh, look, it's flat. So you just click 2-point, make sure it's got a new layer. And it's going to make a new layer here. I believe I already have a perspective on, so I'm not going to get too fancy with it. But really all it is up here in the object selector tool, you just click it, and it's this, fix eye level. What that does is it makes it so that I can move my vanishing point without changing the horizon. So I can rotate the horizon if I turn the fix eye layer or fix eye level off, and then I can turn on to it. I'm going to do a video for this. I already have it marked down just because it's so ridiculously simple now that it's not a chore to use at all. And it's what digital is supposed to give us is speed and like less frustration, you know? Like it should just make you feel good. It should just make you like, no, well, you know, it's gonna make you feel awesome, but it shouldn't make you not want to do it. So, so yeah, and there's a whole bunch of other things we're gonna go through when we're going on here. But actually, I don't think Will's gonna be around. I think we just talked yesterday morning. And I think I don't know if he's starting his Christmas vacation or if he's taking a week off to go family or something. Or maybe he's just got some deadlines too, but I don't think Will be here tonight. He could surprise us and show up. That'd be great. Alright, so I'm just going to make a new folder here and just call this FG for foreground. If you guys watched that video, you heard me talking about this to death. I don't normally label all my stuff, but sometimes things get complicated, and if I can just group it into a folder like that, it's easy, right? So I got the firemen in the front there. Just turn them off. It's not a problem. What we're going to do is I'm going to actually add a contour line around them. Here, I'll actually do that right now just to show you guys. So if I click my wand tool from current layer, this might work, this might not. I just got to check it out. Some of these things have been a little wonky with me tonight. So we're going to click. And I actually should have did something before doing this. So we're going to have to undo that. Yeah, it's all over the place. Okay. So what I need to do here is I have to make it so none of these lines are open like this guy. So close that. And what this is going to do is it's going to make that white knockout layer that I talked about. So that the background I can get sloppy and not have to worry about it falling into things and lines going underneath them. So if I go under here and I start drawing perspective like this, those lines, what the hell, I'm using a pencil, fail. But these lines won't show up. And you'll see. You'll see. And then, once this panel's done, it shouldn't take me too long. These panels actually go much quicker. Because these lines, the more videos of Freddy's I watch, the more I'm trying to understand certain things. And I could be totally wrong. Just what I'm getting from it is that it's like, this is just to show me the information. Once we get to the inking stage, then we make it sing. And you can use these lines as help to get there, as well as what you want to take out and put in. But I'm not tied to any of those lines. So, meaning you could be quickish with it as long as the structure is sound and the form sound. That's all you're looking for. That's it. Okay, so let's try it again here. Let's click wand tool. Let's see current layer. I just want to see if this can do it, or if it's just selecting the one thing there. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to do select all layers, and I believe I have it just in folder. Let's see if that works. Nope. One other thing here. I forgot to close the lines. I'm still getting used to this here. In Photoshop, I just have this to some functions, and it's a snap. It's not a problem at all. Manga Studio, I don't know the ins and outs yet, right? So there's a lot of playing around, a lot of trying to figure it out. Make sure all those lines are good. That's good. Okay. Now, let's try it again, and it should work. And what this is doing is making that knockout layer, like I said, and it's going to actually put a nice contour line around the figure, which will be a black, thick outline, and that just gets us this right here. Like, see how this black outline is here on the fire truck? It's that. It's theoretically just a click. I think it's working. Let's try it. So I need inside here. I'm going to go over to contour line, press play, and hope for the best. So far, so good. Click these two guys and just drag it down here. And there we go. And hopefully it didn't white anything else out. Yeah, that's it. So, like, it's that. I'm going to say simple here with you. You just have to believe me. And I can always thicken up the lines as much as I want. But what I'm actually going to do here, I think I'm just going to make another one just to get ready for inking. Cont. Oops. I'm just going to get this forearm ready to go. We'll grab our pen. And all this stuff we can always, it's digital, right? So we can always go back and change it as we need it. Oh, that's weird. So in this stage, I'm not looking to do any of the lines that are like inside this hand, let's say. I'm just looking for the outside, and like every now and then I'll go in there and pick an extra line if I feel like it needs to pop or read a little bit different. It's hard to give you an example unless it's on the screen. And I go, oh, this is why I'm doing that. All right, so let's get his sleeve in here. And so if you zoom out, see, so now his hand is popping up. I could do this other leg, it doesn't matter. Most of the focus is right here. That's where I want it to be. Justin is asking, is your full workflow in Manga Studio 5 yet, or will it be? Right now, it seems like it's Manga Studio 5. The only reason is because when I get to inking, I like the feel of the inking. Not this like dead line wireframe method. Not that. Just the actual inking. And you'll see, we're going to get to that. I'm not going to do the whole stream just doing this here. Hero. So I'm doing rendering and stuff like that. It just feels better here. There are things that I miss that are in Photoshop, like making the quick buildings, like this building we're gonna have back here. I can just have a path. You guys have seen me do that, and just stroke it, bang, all that stuff like that. It's not a problem. It's not a big deal. I can always take this and open in Photoshop to do it for complex scenes. You know, it's all about trying to be as fast as possible, not getting hung up on things. And I was talking to Will, and this is the way I'm at right now with it, guys. I'll just be upfront with you. Is that for my comic book work, for just work in general, what I'm trying to do is have as clear as possible art, as clear as possible storytelling, and if the art style or the art, or I'll just say the illustration itself has to take a hit to have better storytelling, I'm okay with that. As opposed to the other way, which is great illustration and questionable storytelling or questionable clarity. So let me just give you an example. In my previous pages and art that I've been doing, normally in Manga Studio, you guys have seen tons of videos. We've all had fun together. But I would have like a pencil sketch, an underlining sketch, build it up. Then I would grab, what's the pen that I use here? The mapping pen. And I would just start rendering and picking lines and maybe doing the contour line and, stuff like that. And it's fine. I think that's how a lot of people work. But what this method does, at least to me, is that it makes me just nail down what I need to make sure, right? So I've got this character, I've got this character. I'm not focusing on, like, trust me, right now I want to be in here just shadowing and rendering this mofo up. Something fierce. Like, this hand's going to be sweet, and oh yeah, like it's going to be a blast to ink this. And what this workflow does is it forces me to slow down, pull it back a bit, and go in here and just make sure this stuff works. Now, while I say this harms the quality, let me do an example here for you. Okay, so how we would normally do this before, I'm just going to draw, like I'll always do this, okay? So we'll do the face because that's what we always do on the show, right? So I have a face. I'm just trying to keep it real simple. And, you know, who knows? It doesn't matter. He's bald. He's got some neck muscles and stuff. And I'm actually just going to copy. Where are you at? Control copy, control paste, transform. We're going to move it here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you two workflows. Okay? So we have that. Let's turn it blue. Whoops. Merge down. Control D, so you're all on the same layer. All right, so we're going to turn a blue layer. We're going to turn it down. Now, my old, or not my old method, but like how I would normally draw, which I think a lot of people do, and there's nothing wrong with it. I'm going to do on the left-hand side here, which would be, okay, so let's just draw in some stuff, and I'm able to get like some, like right here, I can go like thin to thick, right? I don't want to spend a whole bunch of time on here. I just want to give you an example here. But I can like render, I can do things on the fly here, like I can double tap lines, like right here I can go in here and just add some stuff. I'm trying to be pretty simple with this here. I'm not trying to put an ear, whatever. Okay, so this would be like the normal workflow, something like that, right? And it would look like that, and I think it looks, you know, play with me here. Just role play with me for a second here. I think this looks awesome. I love the way this looks. It looks organic. It literally looks as what I think anyway, how I would tackle traditional inks if I knew how to do traditional inks, if I knew how to use a quill pen or something like that. This is what I think it would look like, okay? Now, in the new method, I got to keep not saying, I don't want to jump around and say new method or whatever, but the Freddie Williams method, I'll just keep saying that, okay? I'm not thinking about making it look cool. That's not my intent. My intent is to make it sound so that when I get to the inking, I can make it look cool, okay? So I need to make sure things are here, right? I can't get all the love in here that I want. I'm just trying to mimic what I have over here. Maybe I'll put a little line there. Okay, well, excuse the bad art up at the up at the top, and then his neck, right? Maybe I'll put a little line in here, just to get some detail. Like, just let me know where things are kind of going. What I was thinking. Okay, so if I turn them off, like, this is the difference. Hopefully you see it. Hopefully you see it. Okay. Now, again, excuse this one's lack of quality in actual art terms. Like, it looks like his face is falling apart, right? But this method's not done. The next thing you would do would be, let me just see if I can get a thicker, no, that's not thick enough. So you do your contour line around it. That's way too thick. And what this does is this gets you ready for the inking. Man, he's got a cone head thing going on here. Right? And then I would walk away. And then I would keep moving, keep going on, keep drawing, doing all that fun stuff, right? And then the idea is you work in batches if you can. I like to do it. I'll do like a few pages and then just this, go. And then when I come back, I can get that fresh eye. I can look at it and go, all right, now it's time to make it sexy. Nice and, you know, good looking. And this is literally where I would go from here. So I would have that. And now I can go, okay, like, now I know where all the lines are. I can find the ones that I want to kind of dress up. You can draw in white, so if lines are looking too thick, I can just kind of erase it like that. Maybe I still think some of these lines are a little too thick, so I can just white them out. It takes a little bit of love to get in there. Again, I don't want to spend too much time on there. Right, and I can still render, I can still do all my fun stuff, but it's a different image. It's a different, if you ask me, it has like a different vibe to it. Look past I can't not look at this. This looks horrible, but hopefully you guys can see the difference. Now, to me, this is quicker, and this is why I'm saying it's the sacrifice of quality. I don't want to say quality, but it's the illustration is different. The illustration has a different feel to it. It's still fine. It's not shit in my eyes. It's not shit, but it's different. If somebody hired me, let's just say, to just do, hey man, just draw me Batman. it's probably going to be along this line, right? But the more I work like this, the more I appreciate it, and it feels good. I'm starting to get some feels for it. Anyway, I didn't mean to just go on a whole tangent on you guys there, but I just wanted you guys to see what I mean, and hopefully that can kind of help you out a bit. Again, I don't know why why I started talking about that. What's going on here? What files am I at? Okay. Oh, right. I'm working on the hero in the background. Okay, so let me answer you guys' questions here. And if somebody asked a question, and that's why I went down there, hopefully that helped you out. I can't stay in my own head here. Okay. Brett. Hey, Jonathan. Thanks for doing these streams. It's nice to have someone. Oh, jeez. It's nice to have. Oh. God, come on. Where are you at? It's nice to have someone to draw with for a little while. And thanks for following us on YouTube. Hey, no problem. Nod Brotherhood. Oh, some people are having some problem with, yeah, actions. Maybe I should just do a video on that so you guys can check it out. There has to be somebody's already talked about it on YouTube. Essentially, all actions do is it records actions you take. So all I was doing for this here, it was like using the wand tool to select, then invert the selection, expand it, fill it with black, contract it, make it smaller, make a new layer, fill it with white, and that's it. So every time I press the wand tool, get the selection I need, press this action, it's going to make all those layers, all those expansions, all those contractions. It's going to make the white fill layer, all that stuff so I can turn it off. It just speeds it up, man. Like I used to go in here and outline everything myself, and it's fine, but it takes time. And anybody that does comics knows that, you know, there's sacrifices everybody has to make. If you ask me, if you're like me and you have a full-time job or maybe a part-time job or 2 jobs, 6 jobs, kids, frig, I can't even imagine the amount of time it would take. If you get, and this is just a personal call, everybody does what they want, but if you only have a certain amount of time in the day to make a comic page, if you're doing just a superhero book that's 22 pages, like, just think about how long it'll take you, right? So it kind of goes in that thing, right? Like, if you want to make a beautiful, absolutely the best art that you can make, then by all means do it. It might probably take you a while. Whereas if you can find ways to shorten that up to tell the story, to be a storyteller, do it. And hopefully, the more you do it, the more that really kick-ass artwork that you know you can do and that you want to do will meld into this sort of thing, this quickness, this speed. You know, that hopefully something like this gives you. So that's the only argument I have for that. And yeah, if Manga Studio can do paths, there's no reason for me to leave. Maybe coloring, but I think somebody actually sent me an email. Kyle, I believe, sent me an email. Maybe, is it Kyle? Or somebody else sent me an email telling me about coloring, and it did really well. And Pop Cultivation is saying, yeah, I agree. Comics doesn't equal images. The sequence is what's important, and the ability to do it on deadline. And I'm really getting into looking at artists that are very clear storytellers with simple stuff. You know, I could look at really heavily detailed guys, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's beautiful art. But people still do successfully well with clear storytelling because that's what comics fundamentally are, right? Anyway, hey, Michael. A question. When you get commissions and the subject matter is uncomfortable, do you think it's okay to cheese out of it, or do you do diligence to make it awesome? And when you're finished, how hard do you scrub in the shower to wash off the dirty feeling? I turn down things that I don't want to do. So if you need, I guess it goes in the argument too, right? Like, if you absolutely need the money, you know, how bad do you need that money? You know what I mean? Like, what are you willing to do that? Get some nice pictures and draw and stuff. Usually, like, people ask me first for a commission. Generally, very rarely have I had people just say, hey, here's blank amount of money. Draw me Wolverine, right? It's usually like, do you take commissions? And from there, then I say, I have on my computer, I recommend you guys do this too. Whenever you send out a lot of emails, the same emails, make a template email of that, and I'll tell you what I do with the commissions, and just save that as like a Word document or something, in a folder named like automated responses or something. So when I get commissions, I just open that folder, I just highlight what I would reply to anybody, paste it in the email, change a couple of the words, and send it out. It just saves you so much time. It goes into like what I was just telling you about actions, about making that kind of stuff. It's all about automation and saving you guys time. That's the one thing that digital affords us, and we may as well use it, right? So what I'm saying there is actually, is this fine? Sorry, I'm just thinking about this coat. If it would be up, yeah, that's fine. But yeah, so I actually had one person, and that's the reason why I made this. They wanted, it was like a weird picture. It was a superhero that they had made, but they're dancing on a pile of baby corpses. And I'll be honest, I'm not religious. There's nothing. It's weird. Don't get me wrong, and it's a picture. It's not like I would do this or I support this. So there's nothing to me anyway morally wrong to draw that. Drawing monsters and stuff I enjoy, like ripped faces and zombies and stuff. It's cool to draw from time to time. But something about it, just the way that that client, or would have been a client, came at me to ask me that just felt real, like something was off. Something wasn't jiving right. And that's when I said, maybe, like, I don't know, it gets into this gray area too. Like, do you want people to judge you based on previous work? Like somebody goes, oh, well, that person draws dead baby pictures and stuff, I don't want them to do Superman. Like, does it matter? You're an artist, so you gotta, do what you gotta do, and it's not like you're doing anything wrong, my opinion. But I just came to the decision that, I don't want to be spending my time doing this. I'd rather be drawing something that, if I'm doing a commission, and unless I need the money, usually I'm okay with, doing it because it's fun. It's a pinup, it's fun stuff. Comic pages are fun, but pinups and stuff from time to time, like covers, such a refreshing change of pace, and that's the stuff that usually you get to go, all right, let's just sit down and make the best image we can make. Like, let's have fun, let's draw, let's just do a giant splash page, it's cool stuff. So I just came down to the conclusion again that I was like, you know what, I don't want to do that in my free time. At the time I was doing the standard, and you guys have followed me quite a bit through that, and you guys know my work schedule on that, and my lack thereof of just not very good with the deadlines and the amount of work. It was just, a lot of stuff was not adding up for me in that project. It was a great project, just life and stuff. Anyway, so when it all came down to it, it's like, oh, okay, well, it's now time for me to do, my personal projects or whatever I wanted to do. And it was, all right, well, let's do some commissions. It's art, it's money, it's commissions. Let's do it. It's fun. And then that came up. It's like, I'm out. I don't want to do that. I want to do stuff I want to do. So anyway, long story short. So I literally have in my little thing that I sent out saying, like, yeah, I do all this, and this is how much it is for like a bust or a full character shot, background. However, I don't do nudity or people playing in dead bodies of babies. I put it in there just because I would say 99% of people don't want that anyway. But for that 1%, I just want to send that email out, so I don't want to talk to them about like why I don't want to do it and stuff like that. Wow, that was a really long answer. I've actually done a few furry pictures. Yeah, I've done a few. Those were actually pretty fun. Donald DeLay is saying, if you accept a commission, it is your job to put effort into it and not cheese out of it. If it makes you uncomfortable, just don't accept a commission. That's basically everything I was trying to say in one sentence. So thanks, Donald. That was beautiful. What's up, Michael? No, I'm doing a commission that I'm not too comfortable with, and I want to know how much of my integrity is okay to sell to the devil. That's basically it. That's the question you got to ask yourself there, bud. I guess it kind of comes down to, like, there's this thing that comes around where people are always like, they'll take any work they can get. If you're just kind of starting out and it's like, hey, would you like to do my comic book? Or I'll pay you in, what's the word I'm looking for? Experience or exposure. Like, stop working for free, guys. I don't know how many times I need to tell people this. Stop working for free. Don't ever work for free. I don't care how new you are to this. My opinion, I regret every project I've ever done that I work for free. Not that it was bad, shady, or morally questionable. It was that I could be doing my own stuff in that time. I could be making my own comics. Why do other people's stuff? Now, if you're getting paid, then yeah, knock it out. Get some money. Do that stuff. But I don't know. And then I might get the argument. I've heard it from time to time of people saying, "Well, work for people that way you get the experience of working for like a different writer." That's great, but it's also horseshit because you can just Google search your favorite comic book and probably find a script and just draw that. Literally pretend. And this is what I'm going to be doing. I don't want to say too much. The Patreon subscribers know. I put a video up a few weeks back. If you were on my fan page, I mean, you can find out right now if you wanted to. Go over there, subscribe to my fan page. There's a video that I've uploaded. You can check there as well. That's a series that I'm hoping to start in the next year as well. But that's what I'm talking about. It's like you can just find a script of your favorite, whatever, Spider-Man, and just pretend that you just got hired by Marvel, and this is your test. They're like, hey, bro, we love your stuff. We saw you at X convention. Here's just draw, 3 pages. Pick the 3 you want and just draw that. Literally get in your mind and pretend that you're doing it. It's something that I'm definitely doing next year because I'm going to try to make a big push to try and see if maybe I can try to work for Marvel or DC. It's been a while since I've gone to the conventions and tried to give an honest portfolio. So yeah, IDW, all those really cool places like Ninja Turtles. You guys know me. Like I talk about that all the time. It's just getting to the point now where it's, come on, let's put in a genuine effort to just see if I can get some freelance work with them, or maybe a contract. Who knows? I don't know. But let's have some fun with it. And that's exactly what I'll be doing. I'm going to either look up some scripts and draw them, or just come up with my own just to accentuate what I'm good at, or what I think I'm good at. And then once these editors or whoever knows you, then they can start giving you like, okay, well, if you wouldn't mind drawing this or that, that'd be great. And then we'll just kind of keep you, in our minds if we're opening up any positions and stuff like that. Let me just go down. Ninja Turtles is not furries. That's right. Alex is saying, I'm sure Jar has some characters and scripts lying around that he could loan us to practice with. Plus, he'll give us some homework. Maybe we can collab together here. It would be good practice. Seriously, what I would give you guys, I would be doing a Google image search or Google search. Just, there's got to be a hero you like. If you like superheroes, right? Type the Hulk. Type Batman. Batman script. Just draw it. And the funny part is, most of the scripts you're going to get, there might be like 1 or 2 pages of action. And the rest is all like talking heads. It's all actually, and this is the beauty part, it's all storytelling. And that's where it gets a little wild. Right? Because most people like to draw, myself included, superheroes. 1 second. Why is my... I have my perspective. Here we go. Remember I just told you guys the perspective is working awesome. Now it it won't lock to it. Maybe if I'm drawing on it. Boom 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 boom. That's great. Oh, that's so weird. Maybe I've got another one open here. Let me just check around. God bless Mother Nature. She's a single woman too. Tall, blonde. It's raining men, yeah. Wow, that's a good song. Interesting. Okay, well, I'm not going to do this. Yeah, I'll get to some of this other stuff, some rendering here, because somebody just asked, Lars, Jonathan, did you have a pro tip for the feathering? It's not really a pro tip. I'll just talk about it as I do it here for you guys. Let me just try one more thing. Alright, that's great. Alright, so I'll figure this out once the stream's done. You guys don't need to sit through that. So I'm going to actually ink something. Let's do this one. Let's do this first one here. So let me just turn off all the layers I don't need. Alright. So, grab my mapping pen. And the brush size is 0.8. Okay, so spotting mistakes, that's just going to come in time. The only pro tip I guess I could give you is always flip your work. If you're doing traditional, put a mirror, grab a mirror. I was taught this, and I've never looked back from it. So like I could look at her face, and I spent all this time drawing it. Manga Studio, you can just flip it, and I can look and I go like, oh, okay, well this eye, let's say, is wrong. And then I can move it and then flip it back, and it looks better. Because when you keep drawing in a certain angle, this guy walking down, yeah, I'm probably going to end up shrinking his face because it's just too big, the features there. So that's a mistake. So let's zoom in here. And I'm just going to grab some white and we're just going to draw it out because it's not good. Let's just shrink up those features a little bit. Alright, that's better. That's basically it. It's just, if you want, step back, take a second, and like I would usually look at your mistakes. Like always be aware of them when you're drawing, and you're going to spot what you like and what you don't like as you keep getting better and keep drawing. Your style changes, so you notice things different. Just keep drawing, guys. That's the best way you're going to get to spotting mistakes. I wish, honestly, it's kind of like dieting. We all know how to get thin. We all know how to get thin. There's no special nothing. It's just eat right, which you know what eat right means. Everybody knows. And exercise. And everybody knows how to exercise, but we all like that. We all like that plan or that diet, Drawing's the same way. Like, how do you fix a mistake? How do you render? How do you spot blacks? How do you get better at anatomy? It's the exact same thing. It's the exact same medicine that'll work no matter what. Is just continually draw. That'll get better. Now, what you draw, sure, that might be a little thing, but as long as you make time to study, meaning copying other artists, and actually looking at what you're copying, trying to understand why a muscle folds a certain way, or why they just disregard a certain part of anatomy in their style altogether, that's the stuff you want to do, right? But there's, just like Michael said, there's no quick fix. It's just draw, guys. Just draw. You're going to draw to the end of the day, until your end of your days, man. So just keep doing it. You'll get there. If I could say there was one thing that just changed it, it was just taking it seriously. I didn't want this to just be a hobby. I want to make a living off of drawing, right? So if you can kind of get in that mindset, the sooner the better. Okay, it looks like, damn. All right, we might be going a little bit into overdrive here. So I'm going to just ink this character here. You know what? Fuck it. We're going to go until this show's done, meaning I'm going to ink this whole panel so I can nail out some stuff with talking about feathering and rendering and all that stuff like that. Briefly, I don't want to spend all night on here. Like I said, got the deadlines. And then we're going to do one or two critiques. So, get your critiques ready. I'll let you know when to post them. I don't want to say now because then I'll have to scroll up and I'll forget them. I just wanted to see here. Pop cultivation. On a comic page in Manga Studio, do you have to set up the same perspective tool repeatedly, or is there a way to lock it to each panel? In other words, multiple tools used on each panel would have its own. Yeah, I mean, there probably is. That's the one thing that I love about staying in Photoshop. Is I know Photoshop. I know what I need to do in Photoshop and how to get there. Manga Studio, I don't have the experience and the time in there. I can still do this stuff. I can still get the work done, but it's the little stuff like this. Just little crap. It's little nuggets that you're just like, damn, man, I wish I knew how to use the perspective ruler whenever I wanted to, right? And when we started the show, I was showing you guys how I do it, and it works. But now it stopped. I don't know why. I don't know what the the next steps are to figure out why that is. And I don't want to bore you guys with that. Just give me a second here. I just want to write down so I don't forget to make these videos for you guys. I'm just putting them in the backlog here. Da, da, da. Okay, so it was a YouTube video on MS5 actions. Okay. Nod brother, I stopped drinking milk, switched to almond milk, lost about 6 pounds. My man. You guys all know I'm vegan, and I'll tell you guys how I die. I want everybody to go vegan. I'm not going to push it in your face unless you follow me on Facebook, and then I just get to share, and I just get to spam news feeds with it. But if you guys just want to look at artwork, check out my art page. I'll never bring that stuff over there. Leave the politics and stuff out of there. But it's like I say all the time, out of those who don't know me, I'd rather, if everybody wanted to keep eating meat, keep eating meat. I just stop dairy, cheese, stop all that. That's, in my opinion, worse than eating meat. I'm not going to get into the whys. If you guys are seriously interested, research why. All that stuff, okay? But congratulations. I'm glad you're getting healthy. You know, losing 6 pounds is no joke. So, good for you. Congratulations. Proud of you. And the cows thank you, too. And every glass of milk you don't drink, its baby gets to drink some milk. That's nice. That's nice. That helps you. If you're a religious person, which I'm not, but if you are, builds the soul up. If you're not religious, makes you feel good. Makes you feel real good. All right, let's get to inking here. This is getting silly. All right, so I have all this is in black. I don't know. So this is why right now I'm questioning if I'm going to just fill this black. So let's just grab our thingy here. I don't know what all layers. Sure, let's see if that works. Or it's going to get silly. Okay, so when you fill stuff black, what it ends up doing is it kills your line art. It kind of sucks. That's why there's a lot of artists, what they'll do is they'll put that white halo around everything, which I'm going to try doing here, just to see how that looks. Let's see if that works. Okay, no, I got the wrong. Current layer, that's why. Silly guy. Man, the wand tool takes so long in Manga Studio. Why? Oh, right. From all layers, this one. Let's see if that works. There we go. Takes so long because I'm a little slow. Alright, so what we're going to do is, now that I've made that selection, I'm going to shrink it. We're going to shrink it. Let's see how big 3 of a halo that... No, that's gross. What is that? It's horrible. Let's get rid of that. Shrink it. What did I have? 0.15. Let's try that one more time. Alright, and then we can fill that black. See, so it gives it, like, there's still some weight to it. It's arguable if you like that. The other side of it, you know, you can start to make like a gradation, like starting black and then start hatching it in. You know, deadlines are king right now, so I'm just trying to go for clear storytelling. That would be an artsy fartsy thing. That's my terminology for that. So let's just clean up all this outside here. If I have anything on an image that I've left behind, like this, that says like an X, that I'm trying to indicate to myself to just fill it black, I like to just do it first, just so I can see what I was thinking, where I'm at, all that cool stuff. Okay, so we got that background. Now we're going to pick a light source. That's the best part about working in this method. Always changes if you want to, right? So I'm just going to go with... Let's see if we can bring some storytelling into it. At least give it the thought. There's the traditional, you know, just light it from the top. I'm thinking I might make the mask sort of emanating the light. Like that's, she puts that on and when she turns into the hero, you know. Spider-Man becomes a hero when he puts the mask on. That sort of thing. So what I'm going to do is that's going to be my light source. So the next step that I like to do is, what's it called? Line weights. Let's add some line weights. First, let me just ink in her eyelashes here. And she'll quickly start looking more like she has in the previous panels. fill those guys in. Now the light source is coming from the bottom here, so I'm just gonna put some light lines here just to put the shadow coming up from the top. Just to sort of set those eyes back a bit. No, we will be doing critiques. Sorry, just trying to just do this here because there's a couple questions about rendering and feathering and pro tips and stuff. I just want to make sure I get that done here. All right, so her head is caving in. Or not caving in, it's like her eye socket. So that's light, but up here we can start to just thicken those lines up because it's getting away from the light source. Her cheekbone here, all down here. So her upper lip would be where the shadow is here. I don't like that, it's gross. I'm going to try this. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. Just try to put a little shine on her lips. No. Just doesn't look right because I haven't given her lipstick in any panels at all. Alright, so the nose. Nose is always fun. So I like to always at least put the hint that there's a nostril in there. So I'm just going to tilt her nose up just a bit. Put the shadow on there. Grab some white just to thin that line out a bit. Just to push the nose up a bit like that. A lot of the stuff we can always change, right? So what I'm worrying about here is just trying to find areas where the shadow is pushing things back, like the eye socket's back there. We're actually going to go ahead and fill those eyebrows in. The pro tip, I guess, for rendering is whenever the gray would be there, that's when you're putting in line weight or rendering. Okay, so theoretically, if this light is like right where her face is, there's probably going to be a heavy black source here. You know, all this might be covered out, but instead of just putting black, what you can do is just render it from light to dark, right? I like to go light to or light on the key, on your keyboard or on your keyboard, your Cintiq or your tablet, and then just light to heavy, light to heavy. That way, you can get these thick lines. I don't like going heavy to thin because I feel like there's such a jump in quality where if I just lightly touch the surface and hold down, I can get, you know, something there. But this is a little bit of a complicated shot, so what I'm going to do is make a layer underneath of it. I'm going to make it blue. I'm going to grab a pencil here. That's a horrible looking pencil. Why is, oh, okay, so let's make this color. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm just going to make a layer underneath it because it's a complicated shadow, or could be complicated. Just try and help me out. I'm going to just grab a pencil, make it nice and big here like that. And I'm just going to feel out and just, if I was to shade this or something like that, then where would my shadows be, right? So the side of her face, kind of got the rendering going there, but her nose is like that. So I'm just going to kind of figure out where her nose is. So the shading might go there. Let's just erase it and see how that looks. It's not bad. And this is the easy stuff for me anyway over here. Like all this is pretty much blacked out. We'll put like some highlights and shines and stuff. Go in there. We'll just bring the light up just a bit. Should do some lighting under here. No, that's overkill. going to have like all kinds of cool folds and stuff in here. Still thinking about like the planes that this guy's or that she's in. I'll just black all that out down there too. Alright, and then there's other things too you could try to find. Like if something would do a cast shadow. Not much is here that I'm seeing that we could really push too much on. And I want to keep this relatively open. We'll just do a lot of rendering or something in there. Again, I don't do a lot of shading this way. Only when it's like complicated, I need to figure it out. Or like this isn't really taking that much time. Granted, you'll get more comfortable with shadows and stuff as you do them, but I can just turn this layer off, do another layer, and change the light source altogether. I can bring it from the top to the bottom, just see if that looks good. You know what I mean? John Finch did a vid on hair. I believe he did, yep. It's an excellent video. All of his videos are really good. Alright, just waiting for it to save here. Alright, so I'm going to lower the opacity here so it's still there, but we can still ink over top here. Alright, so I'm going to just do that light to thin here with her cheekbone. Okay. Zoom out so you guys can kind of see it. And what I'm going to do here is that'll be black. I'm just going to render to the plane of her nose. Just to fade it out. The thing is, I don't like adding a lot of shadows to flesh. Unless it's like a really ripped arm from a guy or something like that, or if the girl's like really flexing. So I want to keep this pretty tame, especially since it's a female. But there's got to be something here to help accentuate that drastic light source coming down from below, right? So that's why I'm fading a lot of this stuff out. Like you'll see, like right here, all this will be black, but I'm just going to pull it in there like that. So we go in there. I'll do it again right here at the chin. Just tapping the screen, really. And I'm actually going to get rid of this. I'm not going to put that in shadow. I like to use the lasso tool when we're doing hair. So I'm going to grab that right now. Just because I can get like this. I can get really fine cuts in the hair. I can clean it up as we go. I'll just fill it black. So we're just grabbing each one of these like that. Sorry, for some weird reason, I guess I wasn't scrolled all the way down to the chat. Looks like I got some catch up to. Michael, hey Jonathan, are you coloring this book as well? No. Well, these 12 pages, Armando, I forget his last name. Either way, his name's Jar on Facebook as well, J-AR. He's coloring it. But all the pinups that we'll be doing after this, I'll be doing the coloring. I'll be doing the simple coloring with a flat color with like a multiply shadow over top of it. Yeah, no, what Finch says, he's like, you got to be careful when you're zooming in and stuff for doing the hair. Absolutely. You don't want to get lost in it. You guys can't see, but I'm zooming in here so that you guys can see better. On my monitor, I have it zoomed out so I can see how close we are, just for that. Because no, especially when we work in digital, that's one of the hugest problems. Jeez, that doesn't even sound right. It's a huge problem, is being too zoomed, too zoomed in. Wow. So all this is gonna just be blacked out. Alright, so what I'm going to do as well is I'm just going to cut off that, but I'm going to pull the cuts, so hopefully it looks like it's folding in. And here that lets us just kind of cut in on the strands of her hair here. So you guys kind of see what's going on. Actually, we can just cut all that out. Donald Delay is saying it's actually a really good tool. Over rendering from zooming in is why I stick to inches in my page templates and lock my brush size. It helps a lot. Totally does. It's a good way just to stay safe. The other reason why I zoom in a little bit, well, it might look like a lot, is because I can see like that right there. I can really start getting some really nice shapes. But the problem is, it still remains. It's a real problem. Is that once the colorist gets to this, a lot of this gets lost. To be honest with you, and it's not his fault. It's just that color. Like if you add any kind of dark color in here, which is probably going to happen, most of the stuff gets killed anyway. So then you got to ask yourself, well, what the hell am I doing? Why? If I know that, why am I doing this? Why? And I don't have an answer. How do Canadians respond to foreigners? I'm traveling all the way up from the United States. Well, welcome. Depends who you come across, right? I think Canadians are exactly the same as everybody else. You're going to get good ones, you're going to get bad ones. Alright. Trying to think. Okay, so what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to use the lasso tool just to kind of do this quick. Just going to turn the opacity down a little bit. That way I can get these interesting shapes done quickly. Normally I would just carve the shape of it out. But I'm here with the lasso, we may as well. Up there's going to need some love, so we're going to jump back to the pen. Alright, maybe I can just do a little bit of rendering here on this jacket, and then we'll get moving on to something else here. So let's just jack that up, turn the shadows off. Let me just add the blacks in here just to see how it looks. Oops. Ah, shit. Now why are you leaving like that? Everything's right to the pixel. It makes this stuff fun. Look how gross this stuff looks when you zoom in. Ugh, love it. It's like bitmap artwork. And the reason it looks like that, just so you guys know, I have it on monochrome layer, so it's just black and white. There's no gray. So it theoretically makes the file size smaller. So I'm just going to actually just address this stuff here. Drawn with white here just to get some extra strands in the hair. So it's looking a little muddy, right? So if we turn this off, we can kind of see what we're adding, what we're changing. In the context of all of it, it's a little dark. I think what I might do, let's just see here, because I'm not sure. There's a lot going on with this nose. So if I just erase that, how does that look? It opens it up, makes it a little bit more innocent looking, I guess. I don't know if that's really what we're going for here. Let's just flip it, see if it looks different when it's flipped. Oops, maybe if this was blacked out too. Let's take a look at that. Whoops. Why the hell are you? That just looks really whack. Alright, let's get rid of all that. Alright, maybe we can just add some rendering up here too. Alright, so what's happening here is the rendering is conflicting with the hair strands. Okay, so what that means, sometimes this happens, you just gotta get rid of it. It'll make it look better overall, usually. Even though there probably should be some lighting in here, I could try to figure it out. I'm not gonna do it with you guys, but like it just cleans it up a bit. So it basically means either I'm putting in solid blacks for the shadows, or I'm not doing shadows at all. So like this, for example, if I just fill this black, like that reads better than rendering it out. Because it just starts to look a little wacky. I think she needs just a little, some eyelid action. Some of these lines. Pucker her lips up a little bit. That looks a little goofy. Okay, well, this is stuff I'm gonna have to deal with. I don't want to keep you guys around. I know some of you might get an interest in this. Like, well, how do you? Well, what do you do to get around this? You know. But anyway, okay. So if you guys want, I'm gonna throw out the critiques. We'll see how long they take. So go ahead, just throw first person to throw a critique out there. Just put it in all capitals with critique me, with a link to where it is. All right. Well, Noah's Noah's been sitting on that for a while. Let me save it up here. Any convention setup? No, I'm gonna have to look into it. Hoping to go to Fan Expo. There's the Christmas Comic Con here in Windsor that I'm heavily planning on going next year. I want to go to New York Comic Con next year as well, and maybe Chicago. Chicago is actually pretty close. I just don't know if Wizard World Chicago happens anymore, if that's even a thing. It's been a long while since I've been there, but I have to look at how much it costs for all that stuff. But like I say, I'm trying to do a huge push to just kind of get out there, just get more stuff. Yeah, I know Windsor, right? How's it going, Andrew? Okay, so we're gonna go. Okay, so there's some new ones here. Noah's bringing back where the Thanos left off. I will just say I'm not going to critique like a draw over. I'm just going to give a comment or two, just to give other people a shot here. I don't have a problem with anybody asking for like repeat critiques. It's great because then you can see if you're improving or if my opinion even matters. Who knows? But I'd like to give everybody a shot here. Again, head on over to patreon.com/Jonathan Rector if you guys wanted to check out. If you guys wanted like a little bit more one-on-one or a private session here. Okay, so copy image. I'm just get a new file here. And edit paste. All right, so here it is. It looks awesome. You got some really cool things going on. If it's color, I probably should have brought it in Photoshop. There's a few things that are still wrong with it. The anatomy is still really wrong. I still applaud you for being, I believe you're 11 years old. If that's true, this is awesome for being that young. So definitely keep going. So some things that pop up right away that I'll just quickly address is this leg is really crazy. Look how like you have a knee here and the knee there, but then you have the thigh hangs over and the thighs up here, right? So there's some weird stuff going on. I'll just show you right now. If all you did was just brought this leg up, just gonna stretch it down a bit, right? Like that. The perspective is a little off here, and there's other things too. Like your lighting is off here, right? Like you would see more of his underwear thingy. And then I don't know, and then or I don't want to say you forgot, but there's no room for a forearm back there, so that's why the hand looks a little weird. And then the biggest offender here that really doesn't help this composition or your anatomy in this is that his chair in the background doesn't actually follow. What's it called? It actually doesn't follow the perspective he's in. So if I draw over top here, I'll just show you where this chair should be. This is the side that should be bigger. Where are we going here? We really don't want his crotch to be the focal point here, but that's where the chair should be. I mean, the shot that you have is kind of like it's we're looking at him as he's on the throne, right? And that's why he still should be, you got his big gauntlet here, which is fine, and his arm. But here you still need to put that forearm. So if his hand is like digging into this, which always is a cool look, you got to at least insinuate the rest of the hand. So if it's up here, the forearm's probably like, at least resting on here with all that meat, laying on the armrest. But you got to make room for everything else. His thighs are still going to come here, and they can still follow. They should, right? Just follow that perspective point. Right, so that's where I'm thinking of going with this one. Okay, so I don't want to keep going with it. It looks great. Especially the glove, those colors you got on there look really slick. But yeah, keep practicing, keep going. Don't, and I just want to point this out as well, just for everybody. Don't, whatever you do, don't rush to this. It looks great, all that fun stuff, but that should never be the focus. That's where you'll end up going, right? This stuff here is what you should always be focused on. Make sure this is as sound as possible, as much as you can get it before you start adding the flash and the sizzle and all that good stuff. Because if this side is thumbs up and the structure is really well done and all that stuff, all the sizzle, that's easy to do. Yeah, granted, you might need to learn coloring, all that shit. But, I mean, this is what people will notice. When you start worrying about jumping into this first because it's the fun stuff, don't get me wrong, I agree with you. But when you start doing the coloring and stuff, what happens, at least this is what happens with me, and you guys, if you agree with me, let me know too. I look at this and it's like, oh wow, like it's Thanos. He's got look at the eyes and the glove, right? It looks great. But then if I stare at it for any more than a few seconds, I start to see all the problems. Like there's no arm, you know what I mean? Like the anatomy starts showing its problem, and he's got shadow and rendering, but then this chair has nothing. Like there was no shadow or light put on it at all. You start to see the things, right? And that's why, in my opinion, this is the stuff that you need to really sink your teeth on. So keep going. You're clearly on the right path. I don't know what you do in your spare time. Just please make sure that everybody and you yourself are making time for studies in structure and stuff like that. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to randomly grab another one here. Okay, so this one is from Justin Credible. All right, let's copy the link location. And paste and go. Sorry, guys. Okay, and what was your question there, Justin? I need help with your inks and cross-hatching. Okay, so we're going to paste that in here. And move it over so we can see it. Okay, so I think, Justin, just to help you out with what you're doing here, there's the structure what was it? You wanted inks and cross-hatching. Okay, so your inks and cross-hatching, there's more that you need to worry about right now besides the inks and the cross-hatching, if you ask me. You need to work on your anatomy and structure before you get into the complicated things like shadow, because like you're doing shadow work down here by his feet, and the bag's doing a cast shadow on his leg, which is good. But the problem is that the structure is all over the place. The anatomy doesn't make sense, so that's why you're having trouble figuring shadow out. Shadow and lighting becomes easier the more structure you understand, right? So we'll just do an example here. So I'm just going to draw over this guy, and we're going to figure his anatomy out, okay? So we got his I know this is cartoony, so I'm going to try to keep that represented as well. So we're going to have his chest, and his hips are way down here. Again, I know this isn't anatomically correct, so I'm just trying to use the same proportions that you have, and assuming that this is just cartoony. Let's hold the bag. Okay, so I'm just going to move this over so you guys can see the structure that he is. Okay, so if this is the structure, what you're worrying about is the structure, right? Like this needs to make sense. So there's a perspective here. The quickest thing that I always try to do myself, you've already sort of done it. So a lot of the hard work you're already doing is these legs are lining up, right? So just connect them, right? So heel to heel, just make a straight line. Toe to toe, make a straight line. Like this is giving you a vanishing point. So I'm actually going to bring another point here. So we're going to say, just so I can bring that shoulder down, you can kind of see what's happening here, right? Like there's a straight. So this is the perspective that we're going with. So when I make a new line, or a new layer, sorry, I'm just going to draw that structure again one more time. Real simple. Give him his funky hair. So his neck now, we don't really see it. All right, so I'm just going to insinuate where some anatomy is here. Give him a little bit of pec action. It's just going to make what I'm going to show you a little easier. So he's naked but not naked, okay? Just try to think of that. Because this right here is what everybody, I hope, is doing with their drawings. Because 80 to 90% of all problems that you'll have in art, in figure drawing and stuff like that, in comics and that, is this. If you're not doing this right here, you're doing yourself a great disservice. If you jump from this to this, or you skip this and you just do this, you're always going to get yourself in trouble. The more you draw, the more confident you're going to get with this stuff, and then you can just jump to doing this. Or sorry, jump to doing this with this understanding. Alright, so let's just turn off all those color layers. Whoops, turn yours back on. So I just put a quick perspective on there, but now I can see where my shadow, well, I can't really see, but let's just do one more, and then we'll get to it, I promise. So this is the perspective you're supposed to be in, right? So I know like a shoulder is round, and there's a cylinder, and this cylinder, okay? I'm just going to do the torso here, because we don't really have time to do the rest of it. Cylinder, cylinder, and then his neck is a cylinder, okay? So let's move that over. Now that you know this is how you understand lighting things, okay? We'll just do the pecs because that's a little complicated on top. So when you have this stuff, when you light it, I'll just do like a dead line around it, sort of like an outline, as if you were inking with like a micron or a pen. Okay, this is where now line weights start to come in. Okay, so we'll do the light coming from the top. So that means anything away, the opposite of that, will get some thickness to it. So his pecs will get thick. All underneath his ribs will get thick. The underside of his shoulder will get thick. The bottom of this cylinder, bottom of that cylinder, all of that side, bottom of the shoulder. And what this is starting to do, let me just move it over so you can see it. Like right there, you don't even need shadowing anymore because there's an argument to be said that line weights can just be your shadows and you're fine. But let's just say you wanted to push it a little further. Well, now you can kind of see it like this is a ball, so the ball has to be rendered like a ball. So the lights come from the top. And this is it in its most basic shape here, okay? So that's a shoulder. The bicep stretches down to, you got a little bit for the tricep. Forearm muscles. I don't know if he's like flexing, anyway. All under here you'd have those juicy ribs. Those pecs. Bicep. Right, so if I move it over just so you can see it. And then the rendering, that would get into the gray stuff. But honestly, this is all I would really concern about right here. This. And if you absolutely had to, line weight. Your structure work needs to be a little bit more sound because it's very difficult to understand it unless you understand this. Okay? For the conventions, well, I want to drop portfolios off, so by default fan. If all I can afford is the plane ticket and a hotel ride just to drop a portfolio off, that's fine with me. If I can also afford a booth, maybe sell some prints and stuff, I'll look into that. But yeah. So if any of you guys are actually, I'm going to have a list on my site. So if you guys are going, even if I'm not at a table, let me know. And maybe we can do some some sketches or hang out afterwards and grab something to eat and stuff. Okay, so we're going to do one more quick one. Jeez. This one would be, oh, this was just a catch-up, so that's fine. Or no, I don't, okay, so this one's from Nod Brotherhood. Ash from Evil Dead. So let's take a look at that. Why can't I copy it? Damn it. Alright, well, sorry, I can't seem to copy the image. I don't know if there's something... Oh, it's a PDF that you uploaded? Oh, that's why. Yeah, I can't do anything with PDF. Sorry about that. Okay, so I guess with that, I will see you guys next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. And if you just came to this stream a little bit late, that's fine. This stream's every Wednesday, 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you guys wanted to give me any kind of support at all on Patreon, that'd be wonderful. You can head over to patreon.com/JonathanRector. And once again, my website hopefully will be back up this weekend, and you guys can check that out. Look for... There should be another video coming up Monday. I'm not sure. It might just be actions, or we'll get into some more drawing stuff. But also, if you guys are following me on Twitter or Facebook or anything like that, if you guys ever have a question, throw it at me. Usually I can get a response. Or if you'd like to see a video on something, do that as well. Usually, sometimes your questions that you guys send me, just like a generic one, I end up turning into a full-blown video anyway to help a bunch of other cats out. So, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate all the support and everybody that wanted to get a critique. Thanks. Hopefully, you guys got a little bit out of this video. And, like usual, keep reading comics, you guys. Keep making comics. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye.